Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is our first summit, our second meeting, and we're really excited about doing this. We put a lot of effort into this. We work for you, and we want to show you what we're doing and how we're attempting to bring value to you. Only you can determine that for us. So we're here to present a number of different items, and we're looking for your feedback, and we're going to show you what our next 12 months are like. Okay, so what you have before you is the agenda, so you can look at that. The books that we handed out have several things in them. They have all the slides. They have, right behind that, they have the healthy business, okay? And one of the things that we're working on is how do you make a healthy business? And so we're going to go over that a little bit so you can start viewing your business from a healthy business. Now, I don't think of anybody's in here is under a 5-year company. So we know that you guys know how to run healthy businesses. We're hoping to be able to add to that. After that, I put in a research paper, which first the Providence rates, which we'll go over, and then a research paper talking about employee engagement. Okay, and that's just, I always throw one of those in. That is not all the research that's out there. This is from the Association of Wellness and Corporate Wellness and Health, which we are a member. We also are a member of NAPIO, and we're a member of SHRM, and we're a member of several other things. We really try to keep that professional employment organization live for us. So all of our people are always constantly engaged in training. We just finished a 2-day training last week on client experience. That's our point, right? We're only as good as you tell us we are, and we listen, and we really want that feedback, okay? So we're going to start off. I'm going to introduce Curtis and the account executive team, and they're going to launch it off, and then we're going to go through a different series, and I'll end with the presentation.
Thanks, Bob. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming today. I'm Curtis. I'm the sales director, and I want to have my team stand. Amber, why don't you come down? And I'll just make some introductions here. This gentleman here in the green shirt, the good-looking guy here, this is Eric Swanson. He's our Vice President of Sales. He has 17 years experience in the PEO industry, professional employment organizations. He also owned a staffing company 11 years prior to that, so he brings a lot of experience to Real Benefits Group and to our future development. Julie here, she is the rest of these fine folks are executive account managers for RBG. Julie has a degree in clinical psychology. She has extensive HR experience and worked a lot in the architecture industry here in Portland. Amber Williams is our expert in 401k. So she comes to us from Mass Mutual. So she will be helping you as you look into our 401k program. Chris Bryant here in the middle, the big guy that looks like a cop because he was a cop for 14 years. He's our enforcer. No, he has a past experience at Morgan Stanley and then a 14-year career in law enforcement. Chris is currently commuting to Portland from Medford. So he comes up and stays in an apartment during the week and then drives home to his family on the weekends. And then at the end, our superstar, Jeff Mail. Jeff joined our sales team. He spent the last 4 years in the NFL. He played for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Houston Texans. He is on the all-century team for the Oregon Ducks as a wide receiver. So you may even be hearing Jeff on doing play-by-play for the Oregon Ducks this fall. Totally serious. It's totally true. So anyway, I wanted you all to see these people. We're going to do this with each group as we move through. You'll get introductions on our full team and all the different divisions. Thank you, guys. Okay, you'll also notice that we're all wearing a name tag, or most of us are, that is our core value index. So if you wonder what this colorful thing is, it talks about who we are. And so this one basically says, stay away from me, I'm not a nice person. Okay. Why do you care about total cost of ownership? We're going to go through 5 questions right now. We're the sales team. These are the questions that we ask prospect companies. When we go out to talk to a new business and talk to them about why would they want to work with us, these are the basic things that we're going to cover. And you're going to hear the subject of total cost of ownership reviewed several times today. It relates to how much does it cost you to have an employee, right? You can put a number on how much am I paying in payroll, what am I paying in taxes for this person, and how much does it cost me for benefits? But if you try to figure out how much is the administration of this employee costing me, what is the hidden figure that nobody seems to be able to put a number on? How much does it cost to have this employee? How much does turnover cost? How much does it cost to train someone? How much does it cost when you have a disengaged employee and he's affecting productivity of everyone else? Why do you care about total cost of ownership? Because you refuse to lose profits to a controllable cost, right? And also, the easiest way to increase your profits is to save money, right? So we're going to do a quiz. This is a fun little activity that you all have to pull out your smartphones, and we're going to see how good you are with the question. Total cost of ownership. So what you need to do is pull out your phone, and at the top of the page you can see you need to go to menti.com, menti.com, and put in the code 725256. It'll just take a minute. You won't have to log in anymore after this. We'll do about 5 or 6 of these questions today. We'll do 3 of these questions today, but I'm going to do 2 of them, so this is more for me, I guess, right? And then if you go into a large company and you ask them, if you go into Nike and say, what is your total cost of ownership? They can tell you exactly how much it costs to the penny to have an employee. Most businesses with fewer than 250 employees have no idea how much it costs them to have an employee. So this question here, what is the annual total cost of ownership for a business with fewer than 250 employees? And you have options of $1,000, $1,900, $900, and $1,300. So when you're logged in, what's your best guess? You guys are doing good. We've already got 7 people voted. Excellent. And we can see that right now it's coming in at 1,900, 64%. 46, 53. Oh, gosh. Boy, this is cool. So it's about 50-50 at 1,300 and 1,900. Okay, and the answer...
Oh, wow. Oh, there's somebody.
Okay, the answer is, this is a little bit of a trick question because for some reason the correct answer is not up there.
Oh, no.
It's a typo. It's my fault. I can see I didn't type it right. The correct answer is $1,600 annually. $1,600 annually is the average cost of an employee, the administration of an employee when you have fewer than 250 employees. What are we trying to do at RBG? We're trying to help you reduce that number. You know, we can help you in health insurance costs and benefits and retaining employees, but we're also trying to help you reduce the cost of each employee that you have. Why do you care about compliance? I go out and I ask business owners, why do you care about compliance? And I hear the same answer all the time. There's only one bullet point here, right? That's why we care about compliance too. You have to do it right, or you get in trouble as an employer. When you're trying to do this stuff by yourself, it's hard to do it right and keep out of trouble. Did you get into business because you really wanted to be good at HR and payroll? I'm guessing the answer is no. Well, okay, we have one person in the front that's really excited about HR. We have a number of people thrilled about payroll. But as we look at these pop on the screen, if you're an owner of your company and HR is part of your job description, you could be putting yourself, your company, your employees at risk. You've never said, this is not my job, but this is something that you should be thinking about delegating. Somebody else can probably do it better than you, and they can keep you out of trouble. You don't want the liability of an employment claim or even an allegation. An allegation of employee liability can cost $100,000 just to defend it. You want to know why so many small businesses go out of business. Your time alone, your personal time, your wages is worth more than it would cost you to have somebody take care of it for you. I ask a new prospect company, if you had 1,000 employees, would you have the same benefits that you have now? No. Right? Small businesses try to keep it as affordable as possible, and it doesn't always turn into good benefits. Your insurance broker has brought you a spreadsheet each year with a rate increase. The healthcare costs have doubled in the last 10 years, and the coverage has only gotten worse, right? The broker is just the messenger. They truly have no ability to affect change. They're just trying to help you get the best option that you can get. You're losing good benefits that you need to attract and retain the right kind of employees. The current system, right? It's not likely to change for small business. Current marketplace. Quiz number 2. What is the medical trend for 2017? This is not the cost of insurance. This is the cost of care. How much does the cost of an MRI increase or a doctor's visit increase in 1 year? Because you see, the deal is, it isn't an insurance issue, it's a care issue. If the cost of medical procedures goes up every single year, then the cost of insurance also has to go up to cover those bills. If we want to pass legislation that solves this problem, we need to create healthier people who need less care. So, how much is the cost of health care going up in 2017? I don't think this is working right.
You see the right numbers, but not the right block.
Yeah. This is a great quiz. I mean, I'm just lighting this up.
The blue one should be over here.
Okay. So, oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right. So 58% of you said 14%. The cost that health care has risen in 2017 is 9%. The cost of a doctor's visit, the cost of a hospital stay, 9%. The cost of a prescription drug increase is 14%. So prescription drugs are going up much faster than even the cost of care. Okay, Tony. Why would you want to work with RBG? This is what I hear. Because you don't want to do it. HR, payroll. You know, the truth is, you just didn't get into business to do these things, and it's less expensive to outsource it to a big company that can do it for you. So, you know, there's the picture for all of the prospects, but the key thing is we need 2 things. We need more businesses to come into this program and increase the value of these services for you. You can help us by doing 2 things. Number 1, engage in our program. Get your employees to participate in stuff that we're doing. You have a service and benefit page that lists all of the different things that we do. If you see things on here that you're not taking part in, ask us about it. Find out how to get involved in our 401k plan or our cafeteria plan. So without further ado, let's move on to number 2. It's the only thing that worked.
Awesome.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Curtis. So it's a good layout of what is coming today. Our next group are our account executives, who most of you have the most contact with. We have Kim and Katie in that department, and then Tyler is a backup payroll specialist. He's helping in payroll, and Jeff does that also. So here's Kim.
Yay! Yeah, so as Bob said, if I haven't met you guys before, I'm Kim. I know I've had a lot of email and phone communication, and I would like to meet you afterwards and also introduce my team to you as well. Mine's going to be, oh, thanks. Sorry. Mine's going to be simple and sweet. As some of you know, okay. As some of you know, we've integrated to a new timekeeping system, which is Time Clocks Plus. It's integrated within Prism. The reason why we're using it is because you don't have to create an Excel file anymore. There's no exporting, importing, none of that. It's all just a click basically in the system that transfers over the time straight into the time sheets in Prism. Within this, there's also ways to request PTO, vacation, sick time. So it basically the employee will log in, it sends a notice to the manager. The manager then goes and approves it or denies it. This again is also integrated within Prism, so it's going to update their balance as well. There's multiple ways that employees can clock in and clock out. There's a cell phone app. Through the employee portal, they can log in and also go in there and clock in, clock out, take their break, take their lunch, etc. There's also ways that if you didn't want to do those, they could call a number to clock in. There's also biometrics, and there's also like a badge swipe, employee pin, lots of different ways basically. And so then one really big thing that I wanted to focus on was the employee portal. I know not everybody uses it, and I'd like to start getting more of our employees involved because they're able to access their pay stubs, their W-2s at the end of the year, change their address, all of that. Currently, on the side that says Real Benefits Group, that's what people are seeing when they log in. But Q4, Prism's updated the ESS portal, and this is what it will kind of look like. It's a little bit more advanced, and I'm really excited for it. The background's customizable, so if you guys had like your logo or a picture of your company or something that you wanted, we could upload that for you. One of the best features, I think, is the forgot username. I know a lot of people forget their username and password, and the current way you can only do forgot password, so if you don't know your username, it doesn't help at all. And then also another feature that I really like is that we can have a customizable message. So we can put our contact information for your employees to reach out to us directly when they're having trouble logging in. And then again, the blue side is currently what the employees are seeing. This white side over here is what they will be seeing in the future. The blue side over there, there's a lot of clicking to getting into things versus the new way, it's kind of right on the screen for you. So we're able to pick 6 widgets of your choice that your employees can see. Like as you can see right now, it's showing their paid time off. So they don't have to click into anything. It's right there for them. It's going to show them their total hours. Also, same thing with like the pay. They're able to just click right on the most recent stub statement to get the stub versus clicking into all the other screens to get it to print out. Another thing that I really like about this is that the contacts, so we can put our image with our contact information. So again, when your employees have questions, they can contact us directly versus trying to contact you to figure things out. But along with that, we can also put your picture and contact information if you would like that as well. A couple other things that I like about this is that it's all customizable. So we're able to add your company's colors so that your employees basically know that they're working for you, they're seeing your image and your branding. And then one thing that they're working on but they haven't released yet is a mobile app. So right now, this will size down to any device, cell phone, tablet, computer screen, but unfortunately, they still haven't released an app yet. They do have, on cell phones, you can save the link and save it to your home screen, so you're able to kind of make it an app, but the employees would still have to log in just like they would on a computer. And that is all that I have.
Great. Thanks, Kim. As you all know, our software has been an ongoing process. Our goal is to bring you an enterprise system, state of the art, all cloud-based, so you have access to it. We're getting close. We've gone to EDI compliant benefits. We're going to go over that. Everything should be online. We're trying to go paperless, so then we can dedicate our time to you. So next group is our executive team. Dennis, who's in back of the room there. Dennis is our controller. I've known Dennis for 25 years. We've worked together on several different projects, and he's just been a stalwart of my business development and process. Joe has been with us about 3-4 years now. Joe has just tremendous experience on running organizations. He is our business development process, so he's going to talk here a little bit. And then Dominic, as usual, is not here. No. If everybody tried to get it down. But Dominic has a serious background in finance, and he's the one that helps. He's our CFO. So I'm going to turn it over to Joe. Here you go.
There are several reasons why I'm very happy everyone is here today. There are 3 things I would like to really stress as part of my presentation to you. One is, having been in the nonprofit world forever, I've done a lot of presentations to fundraising groups, to colleges, boards of directors, and I made the mistake one time when I was starting to give a presentation to simply say, "You will be very glad when I'm finished." And apparently that was the moment where everybody decided they were going to clap and encourage me to be done. One of the reasons I'll be important to you in this is that I have your parking vouchers. There is no tit for tat. Please see me before you leave. I'm very happy to make sure you get your parking voucher. When Kim was talking about PRISM, and Bob was talking about NAPIO, they're very closely linked. We are very honored to be part of NAPIO. It's the National Association of Professional Employers Organizations. Bob and I traveled to California to have a meeting, to be part of a CEO or C-level meeting with them. We were also back in Washington, D.C. a couple weeks ago for their national conference. And part of why we value that relationship, when we talk about everything that is happening in your business, NAPIO is connected with literally hundreds, if not thousands, of PEOs around the country. So they're giving us real-time data about what issues small businesses are having. So we can help you not just react to a problem when it appears in your office, but we can help you be prepared for the issue, the event, the activity that sometimes takes away your time from running your business. NAPIO is a tremendous resource. They send us 3 updates every month with about 10 questions. One of these questions I'm going to pose as a question. We'll see who gets the right answer. But in the last issue, the lead article was the 10 issues, the 10 problems with payroll. How many feel they have a complete understanding of overtime rules? Not at all. But our staff is working with NAPIO constantly to get the answers that you need to help make the right decisions so that, again, you are protected as an organization. And guess what? If you're protected, you have the right answers. Are your employees happier or less happy? They're happier because they've come to you with a question, with an issue, you've had the answer, you've solved a problem. Part of what we do with NAPIO and with you is try to be very good partners so that we're helping you stay ahead of the issues that are obviously facing you every day, if not every week. The question that I have for you is, you all deal with benefits. We deal with benefits. What is the one thing we have to guard against happening to benefits? Does anybody have an answer? Simple answer. What's something we have to guard with our benefits? Costing? Pricing? Let me give you one answer from NAPIO. Cyber attacks. How much private information is on a benefits website? We have, as Kim alluded to, we have layer upon layer of cloud-based security through our systems. Because guess what? We don't want any confidential information getting out to the larger audience at all. Cyber attacks. It's one of the major concerns that NAPIO is exposing for all of us to be aware of. Now, as Bob mentioned, part of what I do and what I have done professionally is a long history and involvement with nonprofit organizations and with education. as part of what we do, it's not just helping your business become stronger, it's about building a stronger business community. And by extension, we want the entire community to be strengthened. So every year, as an example, this fall, we'll work with Rosemary Anderson High School on a backpack program to give to underprivileged children. And because of one of my stints in a previous life, we have a very good relationship with Nike. So Nike is also going to partner with us on this project. What we like is the sense that we're able to represent you in that larger community. Again, a nonprofit background, it's about doing good. In the for-profit world, it's about doing well. And one of our early investors had on the back of his door something that I think related to everyone's total cost of ownership, and that's keeping everybody employed. He had it in Italian. The translation was very simple. If you don't work, you don't eat. How many of us can relate to that value? The value of work is probably one of the highest self-esteem issues that any of us would face. The happier we are with our jobs, the better we perform. The better we perform, the more profitable our companies are. The more profitable our companies are, the greater footprint we have in leverage, influence, and overall strength of our community. So when we look at total cost of ownership, we look to you, we look to our partners in NAPIO, and our job is to bring as many systems to you to protect the information, to protect what you have worked so hard to earn, and to help you plan and execute your vision for the future. Those are the values that we hope to bring. We hope you value those because we value our relationship with you. Okay? That's my part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. So to that end also, Bruce Starr, if you guys know, senator, was 14 years here. Board. He actually prepared, and I forgot to hand it out, all of the issues facing legislatively this term for small business. So I'll hand that out. It's in my briefcase. I forgot to do that. And then also Jerry McElroy. Jerry McElroy is a retired CPA from Cooper Libranth. He was a partner in Cooper Libranth, ran Brazil at one point. He's still on the Board of Farmers. He actually tried to get here he was supposed to come in last night, and his airplane ran out of, it didn't have air conditioning, so they wouldn't fly. So I told him to forget about it, but he said he was sorry he couldn't be here and wish he could have met you all. So next we have, no, I don't have I'm asking Tony. Good thing you have two, huh? What happened? Okay, so why don't we go ahead and I forgot these slides are in. I'm going to run through, basically, I'm going to run these slides to set up Andy, our CEO, and our technical person. What we've really have come to not realize, we've known it from the beginning, and we're trying to manage to that, is that every business has a startup stage and then they progress, right? And there's this inflection point that you hit. And I would say every business in here has hit the inflection point and are looking for resources, not off the shelf for QuickBooks, but trying to improve their overall efficiencies through their systems and management. So really, we're putting our whole focus on these types of solutions, management platform and stability. And so Andy's going to go into that a little bit further. Let me see here. Which button do I hit? Okay. So if you look at an overall business, if you look at the right here, this is the stuff you do to be in business. The stuff on the left is what you're in business to do, right? So if you're looking at, and this is a revise of what we did if you saw our circle before, but we've added another column over here, and this column really has to do with total cost of ownership. And we do know that any study that has been done, when you start comparing cost per employer for a larger employer versus a smaller employer, there's a big discrepancy. And the total cost of ownership can be up to 50% or more hidden costs that you don't realize that you're spending time on. So we have a whole way of calculating that, and that's what we're going to do with our systems, and we're going to show you some calculations as we go forward. But then bringing a full, robust package to your employee base, right? And really looking at everything that we're doing, healthcare, payroll, HR. Guys, I didn't start this to do payroll. I'm a practitioner, right? And the thing about payroll is, it doesn't make any difference how good you do. you only recognize when it's not done right. Right? And so we really strive to really do that. So we've really partnered with, I think, really good systems, and we have good people to do that. So we also are looking at digital marketing and things, and I'm going to turn that over to Andy at this point. So when you start looking at, you have healthcare, HR, engagement, benefits, direct and indirect cost. So we're looking at financial health, employee health, and operational health. Those are our 3 buckets that we look at for you as an organization to support you in that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Andy and Haley. Andy has a tremendous background in technology, and I'll let him give his bio if you need it. But also, he has developed our whole platform. We are now totally integrated. All of our systems are integrated and communicating, and we're doing digital marketing on top of that. So he's going to address that. So Andy Knobloch.
Thank you. So digital marketing, there's so many areas to talk about in digital marketing. I'm sure everyone in the room has their own definition of what digital marketing is. What I wanted to do was just give you guys a case study on how we're approaching it. There's going to be a lot of questions maybe within that. I can take that offline with any of you. But Bob mentioned the whole management platform and how we think of the infrastructure and the technology behind us. So I want to give you a sneak peek into that. Again, I can go deep into any areas that you may want to just discover offline, but I wanted to give you a case study and kind of how we think about digital marketing and our approach. So when you kind of think of the overall strategy that we're looking at from digital marketing, it could be anything from lead generation to customer acquisition to retention to loyalty. There's so many aspects to digital and marketing in general that you could take advantage of. From our point of view, what we've tried to focus on is content marketing. And the reason why is simple is most of your customers are engaging with you before they actually talk to you. Meaning they're researching you, they're looking at your website, they're talking to your referral networks, they're really looking at you and trying to understand you before they actually engage with you to do business. And so for us, from a content marketing point of view, we have a lot of topics in which we can go and spread ourselves out into the web in digital ways and communicate people essentially our value. And so what we want to do is we want to try to figure out engagement with our customers. And how we do that is through the different areas of total cost of ownership. So when we focus on that and we start spreading that message into digital channels, what we really do is we start engaging with people without one-to-one conversations. So they're going to research us, they're going to read about us. We do that through content marketing. And by getting us into the different channels, LinkedIn, Facebook, Google, go on and on and on, we start engaging. And from there, we build relationships digitally, and we start bringing those customers in before they're actually ready to talk to us. They start engaging with us through digital means, and then we can bring them into a conversation. So these are just examples of topics that we focus on in our content marketing. But what that actually means from an actual customer acquisition point of view, let me just focus on the middle column here. How we kind of think of it is really a pipeline for our customers. So when we start at the top of the pipeline, we think of getting into different media channels. We're all familiar with Facebook. Google and search engine marketing is another way to build awareness, but we use different media to connect with the people. So you see at the top level there, you see on the side there, inbound marketing. These are ways in which you can essentially use low-cost methods to come in, purchase different types of media, but start engaging, not selling, but engaging with your customers at the top level. As you bring them down closer into the website and they actually start providing more information to you, you can actually do an outbound call once they start learning more about you. What you see in the MA CRM, I'm talking about marketing automation and CRM tools. So essentially our technology now is allowing us to engage, and we understand closer really about how they're engaging with us. What are they reading? What are they downloading? What videos they're watching? So when we actually have a conversation with them, it's in the right context. Again, all these items on the left side here are just ways in which we actually accomplish that. On the right side here with the outbound marketing are just different means in which we can build on those conversations. But again, it all comes back to engagement for us. And at the very bottom here, you see customer service equals loyalty. what we're just simply trying to do is once everyone becomes a customer, we start thinking about ways in which we can provide high levels of customer service. So this is really kind of showing you a snapshot of the different ways in which we can go out and engage with customers. But more importantly, in the middle section here, we're thinking about ways in which you can come in to the pipeline and start seeing where your customers are or where your prospects are and seeing what stages they're in and then how they're actually engaging with you. So this is just simply giving you kind of an overall view of how we think about marketing and connecting with the sales teams. But what I just wanted to also peel back for you is this middle column. Bob talked about our platform. Really, if you kind of break it down into each of these areas here, you see the media. So those are areas that we know people are in the different channels, so we find different means to connect with them. The website, everyone has a website, everyone understands the power of the website, but how you actually set up your website to actually capture those people once they come in is the key, and that's what you see on the left here. The marketing automation CRM today, very cheap tools that allow you to really start talking with your customers digitally. We have very, very good tools in terms of how we do that, but most importantly, you set up your process and your people to use those tools. And again, that's something I can certainly help anyone here to go deeper in. And then the last piece is the infrastructure that Kim and Bob talked about. So we have everything in place once they become a customer. So that just kind of gives you an overview of really kind of our platform and how we think of really marketing and sales in alignment with systems, people, and technology. So again, happy to go deeper with anyone on any of these topics. There's a lot going on in technology. I'm just touching the surface, but again, anyone who wants to go offline with the discussion, please reach out. Thank you.
Thank you. So we will have a question. Wow, that's really been turned up. We'll go. We will have a question and answer session afterwards, and you'll be able to talk into Mike. And we are recording this for future, so we can go back and review and see. You know, always go back and say, what did they say then, or are they still doing it? Okay. We try to stay focused on our mission. So next is Elisa Rivet. Rivette, she goes by. She's our new HR person, and she's going to talk to you about our HR process.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning. I'm Lisa, and this is my official 27th day with RBG, so very excited to join the team. I've been working with them and referring companies to them for just over 2 years, so I've been familiar with them and thrilled to be here and part of the team. And next year I'll have a team lined up here with me. But for now, it's everybody else. What I wanted to cover with you is kind of the history of HR. There's so many myths and misperception of HR depending on everyone's experience on whether it's been a positive experience or a negative experience depending on where they've been. And when you think back, way back when businesses started and there were no guilds in the 1900s, during the Industrial Revolution, the only representatives for employees were the labor unions and the union reps. And to business owners, the employees were really interchangeable. And if somebody couldn't do it, they were very replaceable. And it goes in 20-year increments here, and you can see where they got more policy-driven and how, you know, the word personnel came in. And if you use the word personnel with HR professionals today, we all kind of cringe because it's so dated and references the personnel and the policies and the policy police and the forms and checking the boxes. And HR has been very transactional. And it wasn't until the 70s, which isn't up here, where a group of people said, what does it mean when an area is a profession? And they looked through the criteria, and that's when the first HR certifications became available. And it wasn't until probably 30 years later where the universities kind of caught up and made HR a career and certified and accredited. So we've evolved over time. And in the 80s, it's where the human part of human resources came into play as far as human relations. And in the 90s, we were looking at, you know, businesses where it was always about the bottom line and the customer's always right and the product and the service. And in the 90s, I was involved in companies where they took that where, oh, we need to pay attention to the employees, and that that shift started to happen where companies were paying attention more to employees and equalizing it with their customers. So that was a big shift in what was going on. In the 2000s, more technology. And HR was very late to jump on the bandwagon for technology, and we're years behind. HRIS systems didn't come into play until years later, and companies were slow to adopt them. There was a cost involved, and you could do HR with the paper forms and all of that. But human relations and employee relations became a very much more key point when they started looking at the cost of turnover. So in the 2000s, again, more technology, HR has evolved. We've had to keep reinventing ourselves. All of the programs and complexities of initiatives that we mastered in the 80s and 90s aren't really relevant anymore. So we've had to, what does that look like now and what does it mean? So HR made a shift from being really transactional to transformational. And HR is a liaison. They touch IT, accounting, marketing. They liaison with all different aspects of the business, because if you have employees, you need HR. So the next part, this is just kind of how HR has evolved and what the future of HR looks like. So going from transactional to transformational and working with all different aspects in the company and really looking at the employees, we've had to reinvent ourselves and really look at the risk and liability and educate our business owners on what that means and what that looks like. So I think the message I want to give to all of you today is HR is so much more than compliance. While our compliance is covered with our awesome payroll team, because a lot of it's covered there, but when you start having FMLA and OFLA and ADA accommodations, that's when things get a little bit riskier and you need to pick up the phone or send an email and find out exactly what's the right steps to do there. But when I say it's more than compliance, it's where's the human part, and it's about building those relationships. And the second bullet here, and provide a strategic partner that collaborates with leadership and advocates for employees. And that last part, as an advocate for employees, a lot of HR professionals are viewed as the company person, and they're just going to support management and do whatever management says and wants them to do. And that's not how we operate. You know, your employees should know that they have a resource that they can talk to and call if they have any issues. And then, of course, we're a resource for you. And we want to expand that beyond the people that are in this room, because you all have relationships with our salespeople, our account managers, payroll, et cetera. And your employees need to know that they have a resource as well. And so we want to get that out there a little bit more going forward. But it's why they changed the name to HR Strategic Business Partners, because that's exactly how we want to partner with you. And then this last one is kind of close to my heart. It's a partnership with someone that cares about your business as much as you do. And as a business owner, I would hope that that resonates with you. As co-employers, that's absolutely true. Our success depends on your success, and we're going to do everything we can to help make that happen for you, your business, and your employees. So I'm not going to ask you to get your phones out and go through these 13 questions. But wouldn't that be fun? So when I go in and have that first conversation with the CEO or CFO or president of a company, the conversation goes something like this with these questions is, do you have the right people in the right job? Because we really can't move forward until you take a hard look at that. And a lot of times that's a tough question because they're people you've been in business with for years. They're friends, they're colleagues, you know their families or their family members. And so that can be a really tough question. But do you have the right people in the right job? Do you have a recruiting strategy? Do you know what a recruiting strategy is? There's a lot of nuances to recruiting, more than just posting on Craigslist or LinkedIn, on how to vet talent and make sure that you're getting the right fit for your company in that position. Do your managers and hiring managers know how to interview? Do they know what they're looking for? Do they know the legalities of the questions that they can and cannot ask? Are your managers good managers? Employees leave their manager, they don't leave the firm, because it's that day-to-day contact that makes their employee engagement in their daily life either a really good one or a really bad one. Are your managers good managers? Because everything starts at the top and goes through your middle management. So those are kind of the questions, and it's really about the relationships and the programs that you have in place for engagement. And that's the part that we want to partner with you and help you get that improved and get those in place for more employee retention. And I'm happy to meet you and talk to you afterwards offline and set up a meeting and go over some of this with you. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Lisa. So this goes to the crux of why we're all in business. We're all only as good as our employees, right? And how we engage as employees and how they engage with us. And so there's different ways of measuring that. We've done Gallup 21, we've done all Myers-Briggs, we've done several other testing methodologies on that. This next gentleman we ran across, and I think you'll be pleased to run across them also. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. Sorry, did it switch? Okay, good. Travis, we've all done this, and this is, you can see, we have the card of what our personality is. I'm very easy to get along with, by the way. I'm like, but it was really eye-opening. And the idea is, how do you bring people in at the right time, put them in the right space, and they're going to thrive in it. And it's a science, it is. And this next gentleman, Travis, will help us understand that.
Good morning. Crowds scare me, so if I stumble at all, please bear with me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Come on, you guys can do a little better than that. Good morning. Good morning. Wonderful, wonderful. Glad to meet you. I'm going to start off, since Curtis got you going with a little bit of an exercise, I'm going to expand on that a little bit more. What I'd like you to do, and the RBG team has already gone through this, what I'd like you to do is put your right hand up, put your left hand up, put it in the middle, shake. I'm kidding, don't do that. Clap those hands together for me, just like this. Clap them. All right, perfect. You guys are excellent at follow directions. So look down for me. Look down at those thumbs. I want you, who has the right thumb over the left thumb? Go ahead and raise your hand. Right thumb over left thumb. Excellent. You guys are the smart people. All right, what about the left thumb over the right thumb? All right. She's like all excited. You guys are the sexy people. Yeah. How about thumbs side by side? Wow, this is like, I think that's the biggest percentage we've ever, she's like, hey, you guys are smart and sexy. So the three of you, smart and sexy. All right, what I want you to do is do that one more time. Right hand up, left hand up, clap those hands together for me. And this time I want you to switch those thumbs. Go ahead and switch those thumbs. How does that feel? Awkward. I see a gentleman in the middle of the room just nodding his head no. Yeah, you can go ahead and let go now, because ultimately it does feel awkward. It feels odd. And when we begin to experience change, that's when we begin to start to get uncomfortable about things. And what Bob referenced, what Lisa also touched on, are how do we do this magical thing called engagement? And, the work that the folks here at RBG is doing. I'm Travis Stovall again. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called eRep. We utilize the CBI in actually helping you identify the right people for the right seats, as talked about in the book Good to Great by Jim Collins. How many of you have read that book before? Excellent. So we all talk about putting the right people in the right seats, then deciding whether to drive the bus, but how do we do that? And as Bob referenced, we've actually scientifically stepped through and we utilized what we call the psychometric assessment to understand the core values index assessment and understand the individuals. Why is it so important? Jim Clifton, CEO and chairman of Gallup, he's the one who wrote the book, The Coming Jobs War. He asked the question in the book, what do 7 billion people want? Gallup does polls all over the world. And what they found was 7 billion people want a good job. He said this is one of the most important answers to any questions Gallup has ever asked in their history. Why is a good job that important? Because it talks about engagement. No longer are people actually interested in doing things that doesn't match who they are. People now want to contribute in certain ways. They're no longer interested in trading hours for dollars. They want what's. So let me just ask. What's your name here in the middle? Amelia. Amelia, you want to go ahead and write down the author of this concept of what we call flow, because everybody's going to want to know the answer. It's you ready for this? It's Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. You got that, Amelia? Excellent, perfect. You can see Amelia afterwards if you want the author of this concept of flow. The optimal state of consciousness. People are no longer interested in just trading hours for dollars. They want to contribute, and many times the way we contribute is through what we do. As a matter of fact, if you're at an event, you meet somebody new, you shake their hand, you introduce yourself. Then after that, what's normally the question that comes up next? What do you do? Why? Because it's many times it's how we define ourselves by what we do. And so the reason it's so critical that 7 billion people want a good job is because as business owners and leaders, we need to understand how to engage them, to be able to have them contribute at the highest level. And to do that, I always like to talk about this concept of flow, where we're always trying to achieve this level up here, where we have a high level of challenge and a high level of skill to be able to bring to the position or role. To be able to achieve that, teams and organizations must be in roles where they have a clear set of goals and progress, clear and immediate feedback, and then one must have confidence in one's ability to complete the task at hand. I get to speak with companies all over the world, large multinational corporations, and I can tell you, one of the biggest challenges we face in leadership in America is we consistently are placing our team members in these two categories, worry and anxiety. And I can tell you that doesn't bode well for engagement. Why is that the case? Because we give them high levels of challenge, but many times the skill level is what's missing, either through specific technical training or this idea of understanding how people are hardwired and placing them in the right roles. And this idea of flow is when you're so engaged in what you're doing, you're not thinking about time, you're not thinking about hunger, you're not thinking about fatigue. Sports players actually, they have a name for this. And what do they call that? In the zone. In the zone. When they're so focused, and Jeffrey and I have something in common. Jeff played for the NFL for 4 years. I watched the NFL for 4 years. So, we're not that far off. So, many people, when they start to talk about the science of something and the science of putting the right people in the right seats, they ask, is that possible? Well, here's an article given to us by Harvard Business Review saying, in hiring, algorithms beat instinct. And if you read the article, it goes on to talk specifically about research that's been done, that if you use an algorithmic approach in the initial screening of candidates, you have a much better opportunity to place them in roles and responsibilities. Also, when you're looking at maybe redistributing roles and responsibilities within an organization or promotions. So it's not... when I had you do that original exercise, talking about change, talking about an adjustment, many people ask me, they say, can you really use algorithms to put the right people in the right seat? Well, have anybody heard of eHarmony? I'm sure many of you have. eHarmony claims a divorce rate of 9%. Now, in the greater society, it's significantly higher than that. So if you can find love using algorithms, because that's all it is, then putting right people in right seats, aligning roles and responsibilities through the utilization of an algorithm actually is a natural extension. So the core values index assessment, let me see a show of hands if anybody in the room that's actually been introduced to the core values index assessment. I can see a couple of folks who already know, wow, that's a good percentage. A couple of folks that already know that I've actually experienced the CVI with them. So the core values index assessment was developed over about 25 years ago, developed by a gentleman by the name of Lynn Taylor. And what it does is it gives us these 4 core values that we exist in. And as you saw in that original screen, it actually gives us the specific core value energies and how we're hardwired. As you can see, many of the folks on the RBG team have their name tags on. I have mine. I'm a merchant builder. So I exist the majority of my day between these 2 core values. So I'm love and power. And we reference that by saying it actually in reverse. So I'm the presence of powerful love. So That means that I'm big picture focused. I always stumble when I get ready to talk about my negative conflict strategy of manipulation, because I'm good at it. I'm not proud of it, but I'm good at it. I'm not going to go through each one of these core values, but I was just highlighting kind of the big picture. Merchants are big picture, relationship and vision oriented. Again, we learn by talking and listening. My negative conflict strategy is manipulation. So I utilize my skill set of the 90%, I can read 90% of nonverbal communication very effectively. And that gives me a tremendous opportunity to influence people through my love core value. And then I move to builder. My builder core value is all about power, confidence, actions and results, get stuff done. And if you're not nice to me, then I will intimidate you after I've manipulated you. So, how does this translate into doing really the real work that we're talking about here? How do we look at engagement and do it in a more confident and scientific way? We have the ability to do what we call, well, let me go back. We have the ability to do what we call top performer profiles. So we have the opportunity to build for every role within an organization an actual profile for that role and responsibility. So what you see here is a sample of a top performer profile. You see 22 points of innovator, 18 points of merchant, 18 points of builder, 14 points of banker, and then you've got the lighter bars that you see there because it builds out a range. So it's a range of those core value scores that allow us the opportunity to definitively know who to place in each role. And in organizations that we work with, they see a tremendous ROI, not just in the sense of greater profits, although that's a key component of what we have the capacity of doing and affecting upon an organization, but also employee satisfaction and happiness and engagement is tremendous when you've got the right people doing the right work. Now, what you see here is the demonstration of, in the presentation, of a result. So this, again, is a sample. The person has taken the core values index assessment. This is their score. And then this is the ideal. So you have the opportunity to see exactly where their score falls in alignment with the ideal. Understanding how this person actually will perform in the role before you ever place them in a role, either promotion, either reassignment, or either hiring the person into those roles and responsibilities. And this is what it looks like when a person doesn't fit. This is the actual perspective of someone who doesn't match a role and responsibility. You know specifically and definitively those roles and responsibilities where they do not match. So you have an ability to actually understand the reasons why they're not performing as well in that role as they should. And either looking at reassignment into other opportunities within the organization is a key critical component of what they have the ability to do at that point in time. So really, the big picture for us and the work that we do with RBG is really to start changing the perspective of how we look at engagement and engaging team members. And Bob and his team they have an amazing vision, and that's one of the things that my team and myself we are just excited about working with RBG and the many companies that they work with, because this idea of engagement doesn't just start with just hiring, but extends into many other things, as Lisa already referenced, making sure that you're looking at the benefits, making sure you're looking at how you do this comprehensive engagement starts with making sure you've got the right people in the right seats. And again, the CVI doesn't just stop with right people in the right seats in the concept of just the hiring and promotion, but it also has the ability to do something called, and Bob touched on it originally, and it's been touched on, Curtis touched on it a little bit also, this concept of organizational health. How do you ensure that communication within the team is sufficient and something that you're going to be able to leverage as leaders and business owners? So with that, I'm sure you're going to get future exposure in the core values index assessment. You guys have been amazing, you smart and sexy people. So I'm actually going to have to be leaving here in just a few moments. I've got another meeting I need to get to. But again, I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to you this morning and look forward to having an opportunity to work with you.
Thank you, Travis. We have just been very excited in our and we see this as our core process moving forward for not only our company, but also extend it out. Our goal, understand that we have our company, you have our company, we have common employees, and we all have the same problem to solve. And we're looking for tools like Travis and things that we can actively use to be very effective. So let me grab the thing. Next is wellness, and this is getting into my area finally. So I'm going to turn it over to Tony first, and then I'm going to complete. Tony Gonzalez he's been with the company from the origin, as is Curtis and several other people in the room. He's a practicing optometrist, and he heads up our benefits and wellness group. Tony Gonzalez.
Thanks, Bob. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. I like to bring up our team. Come on. This is awesome Bethany, and this is Austin. All right. And so I'm just going to actually turn this right over to Bethany.
All right, we are full of exercises today, and we have one more that we're going to do for you guys. We've been sitting for about 45 minutes to an hour now, and studies show that if you are sitting for that long, you can reverse those effects by standing for 3. So we're all going to stand up, get to your feet. We're going to do a little bit of an exercise if you want to start walking in place. We're going to do this for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now keep walking in place. So we're going to swing our left arm backwards. Be careful not to hit your neighbor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now you're going to switch to the other arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now you can stop moving your feet, and we're gonna move just our shoulders back now 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now 5 times forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And our last exercise is gonna be moving our sides at the hips, side to side 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. You all can sit down. Now I'm sure you all feel very relaxed and ready to listen to the rest of the summit after that. But we at RBG, we have a mission of employee engagement. And I don't know about you, but employee engagement is critical to the growth of a company. I'd like to ask you guys a question. In your company, how many hours would you estimate the average employee spends in productive business activity out of a typical 8-hour day? If you want to pull out your phone and do the survey like Curtis did earlier, I'll give you a few moments to answer that question. All right. So it looks like we're all over the board here. We all have different answers of how engaged we think our employees are. But actually, according to Gallup, he did a study, and 70% of employees are actually disengaged on average. So if we go to the next slide, we'll be able to see that. And one more. Perfect. And again, our mission at RBG is to help focus on employee engagement. So how can we do this? I think Rebecca Madsen says a great way that we can start to create an environment of engagement. She says by engaging employees in their health, workplace wellness programs may be able to encourage well-being, prevent disease before it starts, and as a result, help lower medical costs. So because of this, we started in March of this year our wellness program called Got Health. We're using an online platform called Wellable that helps incorporate 3 different areas of wellness: nutritional wellness, physical wellness, and mental wellness on a platform every month that we can have exciting incentives to keep your employees engaged throughout the year. And we have several different people who have been using our platform already this year and have created a workplace environment change. And these are just a few of those people right here. I'd like to read to you a quote from one of our clients, Glacier Tanks, that really took a hold of Got Health and made a difference in their environment. At Glacier Tanks, we have jumped on the bandwagon for the Wellness Challenge. Most of us have written up goals on a whiteboard in the lunchroom, challenged each other to stair climbing, pushed each other to walk more steps each day, and have even had lunches together to help each other eat healthier. Being a single person, it's hard to cook for just one person, and it always seems easier to purchase fast food. However, through encouragement and a little competitiveness, our work family is becoming healthier step by step, stair by stair, bite by bite.
Thank you, Bethany. All right. Does anybody know this word? Is it familiar to anybody? Well, here we go. It's the action of employees coming to work despite having a physical or emotional condition that would justify an absence, and consequently, they're performing their work at suboptimal conditions. Go to the next. So it's like being at work, but out of it. Anybody have any experiences with that? Really? Well, we're going to show the Buster sign here because we have a cure for presentism, and probably you've heard that term before, right? Engagement. I mean, we've had that over and over now because we really want to engage employees on all levels. Wellness, right? We want to engage them on their benefits, getting them engaged and to know what their benefits are and how to use them. And that, in fact, we're going to go to, actually, let me show you this slide here first. This is really kind of a shocking slide when you think about it. But when you look at the effect of presentism on the cost burden of poor employee health, it really is shocking, isn't it? And we've developed some different tools, and we're excited to say that as this year ends here, we're going to be rolling out more and more tools to make it easier and easier to engage with your benefits. And we have this simple guide. In fact, I think you have that in a handout there if you have it at your seat. It's an electronic form so that you can actually click on these links. In fact, Austin, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of these links?
Yeah, so the most important that I feel that are the most useful is going to be the top two. One of them will be the smart link for the Prism HR website. This is the ESS portal that the employees can log into and change, view pay stubs and then also change direct deposit slips. Then there's the Provident Health Plans, and under the Provident Health Plans we have 3 separate portals that allow access onto My Providence. Through My Providence, you can find healthy recipes for food. You can go in and find certain health classes. You can also go in and view your benefits. And then there's also 2 more portals that allow you to go in and search for in-network providers. So if you have employees that are not quite sure who's in network, who's out of network, Providence provides you a search engine that allows you to look that up. Then the next one would be the MetLife Dental. This one is really important because a lot of employees, a lot of questions we get is my insurance card or my MetLife Dental card has not shown up. Well, through the MetLife Dental portal, you can actually log in and pull that and print it out yourself. And it's all provided on the website. Then we have a portal for the VSP, for the Providence Vision Service Plan. We have one for Health Equity, the HSA, Ameriflex, Flexible Spending, Call Doctor, and Providence Employee Assistance Program. Thank you.
Thanks. So we're looking at employee health, financially, physically, emotionally, right? And we have a whole host of different benefits that we have at Real Benefits Group. And how good are they? As good as they're utilized, right? Yeah. And so we really want to work with you and your employees to be able to find out how we can get better and better engagement with those. I'm going to turn it over to Bob to talk about healthy business.
Great, thanks guys. Good job, good job. So I'm in the section in the slides. Also, I've put I'm going to go over the Providence current, the latest information we have on the plan. But first thing is the Healthy Handbook. I gave you all a copy. It's in the back, right past the Providence, right past the slides. It's Healthy Handbook. And we started looking at this. When you get into digital marketing, it is business psychoanalysts, okay? Because you have to review all of your customers, everything that you are trying to accomplish as a business, and try to create value. And if we have all done different things because we run business. We want to do a good job of it. We want to provide for people. And it was really interesting to go through this process. And I started saying, I'm a practitioner, right? So I look at healthy people. So I relate everything to healthy people. So what is a healthy business? How do you determine a healthy business? This is the genesis of this ebook. So when you look at it, you start looking at the Covey stuff, right? The don't work in the business, but work on the business. So when you start looking at healthy business, you guys can't be doing all of the didactical work and then growing the business. It's impossible. So then you have to depend on other people. That's where the big rub comes. And I think most of our conversation up to this point is how do you engage people into the same enthusiasm and process that you're trying to get out of your, so your business can grow. So this is just basic, the importance, you know, of revenue, profits, obviously we have to do that. But you really have to look at, you know, in the long run, what is your vision? And how are you communicating that vision? The growth, you know, your growth and profits are, to me, secondary if you're doing that correctly. The health engagement of the health and the engagement of your employees. Now, if an employee is sick, okay, they're not that engaged, guys. They're just not. You're not engaged when you're sick, okay? So how do you know that? And a good business environment has that support to them. Your strategic systems and partnerships, are they most effective? Do they create more problems for you or less problems? Nothing's problem free. What are you getting efficiencies out of that? And that's where really a healthy business is. I left that for your reading and I've sent it out. Would really love your feedback because this is written for you in mind, okay? And I want your feedback. Where does it hit? Where does it work for you? Where doesn't it work for you? Because it makes us better. So 3 things: healthy vision, healthy systems, healthy culture, right? That's really the key to any good business. So now I'm going to break into the hard data here. This is kind of my job. When you start looking at Providence, when we originally, and I did a lot, this group in here I talked to a lot personally, when do we need to do that, by the way? Like right now? Okay, sorry, we're going to break on this really quick. We are giving out gifts, and Jason's back here. This is Growing Gardens, okay? And Growing Gardens we're starting to partner with, and we're going to let Jason talk a little bit about his company. And then, thanks for coming up and sitting. I blew right past it, okay? But, and what he's doing, he has chefs coming. We're giving out 4 tickets, 2 apiece. There are for a private chef to do home cooking. So, Jason?
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, almost afternoon now. My name is Jason Skipton. I'm the Executive Director with Growing Gardens. Quick survey, who's heard of Growing Gardens? A couple folks. We're a local nonprofit that's been around for over 20 years. We have 3 main programs. We work with low-income individuals on getting gardens built in their backyards and then mentor them for 3 years, really with the goal of becoming lifelong food producers. The other program, we work in 9 Title I low-income schools across 3 districts, doing garden-based education and connecting the classroom out into the garden. And we're doing STEM and STEAM and science ed in the garden as well. Lastly, our Let Us Grow program. We are in 16 correctional facilities across the state of Oregon. We're doing production, but also education and classroom training on horticulture and production. So lots really around health. So Joe, you mentioned earlier, nonprofits do good and businesses do well. But there's really a key combining factor to that. It's being healthy. And it's something that we all strive for as organizations, but as companies, to really think about the health and wellness of our communities and our employees. So I get to be your guys' door prize. You don't get to take me to your company, but you get to take 3 folks who are going to be winning tickets to our Chef of My Garden series. So it's been going on for 15 years. It is top chefs. We have 3 of the top 10 chefs in the city in this lineup. Tusk, Toro Bravo, a bunch of folks that you guys have heard of. But then we pair them with top wineries across the state. In addition to that, they're all held in private, secluded gardens. So one example, Lee Kelly, the famous Oregon sculpturist, opens up his private studio to have the dinner at his private studio. I have other flyers for the folks who don't win. Wah, wah, wah. But the other thing, like, what else can you do? How else can you get engaged with us? If you have employees, there's tons of opportunities for you guys to do employee volunteer opportunities, to do team building, to come out and build gardens and work with folks. So I have a stack of cards, have a stack of the other dinner lineups, and I don't know how you guys want to do the prize.
Everybody else Anybody not get a card?
Get your card now. You're gonna want to win one of these dinners.
Somebody asked me at, I think it was Tim, but how we do our drawings, and we actually use an electronic device. So we actually didn't keep track of all the numbers, so we might have to do it a couple times until we find somebody. But we're gonna go ahead and hit it now. So Haley's gonna do it.
34. Nope.
Okay, one more.
All right, 32.
32.
Nope.
We're going again.
24.
I could be 32.
How about 8? Anybody have 8? It might be in this stack of cards.
Yeah.
14.
All right.
Hey.
All right, guys.
Is that all of them?
These down here. Cards. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to get into a real downer after all of that. So, obviously, when we built the Providence Health Plan, this is our going into our third year. I came to you and said, you're in a large group contract. We modeled it after the ACA. What's that? And we're going to give you an option outside of what you can control. By grouping together, we get better rates. Does that mean the rates don't go up? No. But we have better control and potentially not go up. Okay, and that was the option that I gave you versus what the market is. I came to several of you 3 years ago, and I think I prognosticated correctly about the ACA. So now, how do we look at it right now? So in Providence, you have, this is what we've paid in since May of last year, $2.2 million, and it's cost us $3 million, okay? That's called adverse selection. We're at a 1.36 rating, experience rating, which means every dollar in, we're paying $1.36 out, okay? This is not abnormal for plans, particularly when they first get started. There's a couple ways out, and we're going to talk about that. We also have Purchase Milliman, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute, where we actually did a census rating on all of our groups. Okay, so it's just a census age, and it gives us a rating. Our base rate for our groups are 1.01. So all of this rating here is claims. Okay, and I'm going to share that with you. So if you look at first off the areas, we have hospital inpatient, hospital outpatient. This is just alternative care, physician services, and others. If you look right here, our pharmacy is really high, and pharmacy is very high for most groups. Now, as we get larger, we're going to be able to control that because we can get into buying groups and things like that. This is straight off the shelf from Providence, and you get straight off the shelf pricing, okay? But if you look at that, just pharmacy alone, pharmacy and pharmacy medical, we have over almost $600,000, okay, being spent there. Outside of that, we had on our top, and these are claims above 10,000 right here, and you have the complete report in your thing. We have 2,000,002 in 61 claims. It's 73% of the total cost of $3 million, but this number is more than we actually paid in, just in these 61 claims. Now, has anybody heard me say that 5% of the cost create 5% of the people create 50% of the cost? This is about right there. It's a little bit more. It's about 10%. But you don't. This is not about saying, wow, we shouldn't treat a secondary malignant neoplastic of a brain. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. It's the other population, right? So if we have 61 people, and you see in our claims number here, we have roughly 638 in the plan, right? That doing the plan, that we have only about 10% that are claiming over what we're paying. And so how do we change that? Well, if you look at overall cost trends, this is from Kaiser, this is nationwide, there's been about a 19% increase, okay, since 2011. Okay, and that's been an average. In Oregon last year is 23% was the average for small group. How did we fare? Okay, so I did a study within our group, and we're going to do more of this for you so you actually have this data. But I did 4 companies that I actually had market data from, and that I could compare market data to our current data. So if you look at that, I can't control, as Curtis said, the 9% increase. I cannot control the cost of healthcare. We will be able to potentially as we get larger and we're getting partially and fully self-insured. Right, we call it drive care. But in this case, we had a combined in 2015 for these 4 companies, 2 large, 2 small, 47,000 market. We came in at 34, so we were saving 156,000 or 33%. Same thing in 16 was 53,000 is 41. We're still going up, as you can see. We went from 41 to 31 to 45. But it's still below market. And in these cases, when we had quotes and everything else, the total cost was 1.8. Yearly was 1.4, saving 436,000 and 28% overall for 82 employees. In that 3-year period is about 53.22 per employee for 3 years. So you divide that by 3. Okay, so we're holding with large group. Obviously, the data I just showed you is not going to keep us there. There's the main way out, and I think you're seeing, I would hope, a different presence of Real Benefits Group than you did last year. It's pretty much me just talking, right? We are building a team. We're building a team to grow. We're starting to grow, okay? So 2 ways. We're going to build a larger population, which helps everybody here. Plus, it gives us better negotiation power and those types of things. We have been pretty much flatlined to this point. We really haven't tried to grow because we had to get all of our systems in place. And I think you can see by the evidence today that we have worked hard on that, and I think we're there. As a matter of fact, I know we are. And so some of the purchases we've done on top of the digital marketing, we want to know what the risk factor is. And so we know now each company from a census point, a 1 is a $1 in, $1 out premium. If you're a 0.7, it's 70 cents in, 70 cents cost for a $1 in. So that's what you're trying to do, is you're trying to trend downward on that experience rating. So Milliman allows us to do that. When we try to quickly get data from you, and that was my mistake, and I'm sorry they created problems for everybody. I tried to get blood and the questionnaire filled out, and it wasn't properly done, and we're learning. We just started this really in April. But the bottom line is I learned some things in that. One of the things I learned is when I was a practitioner, I hated insurance companies. Okay, that got reflected back to me. Why did I hate insurance companies? Because they mess with me every way they could, and they're trying to find out data. Okay, what you got to realize is we're not the insurance company. Okay, we're the employer, and you guys got to make that shift in your mind. When we ask for data, we're asking for data for your benefit, not to eliminate somebody or create problems for somebody not getting coverage, okay? And that's a tough thing to get. And what it came back, there's different people that are practitioners that we have under our care. That's what really reflected. And I go, wait a minute, they're thinking we're the insurance company. Ugh, I didn't like that, right? I'm not the insurance company. We're trying to do something different with combined things. So Milliman is a big start of that. It allows us to properly assess the risk and create programs that reduce the risk, okay? Can that help, okay? So if you start looking at large companies here, 80% of them use some sort of self-insured model, okay? 3 to 40, only 8% use it, and it's silly to do if you're just below 50 to do self-insured. As you go up, so what we're doing is taking your companies, which the majority of you fall in here or here, and taking you to there, group-wise, to what? Company enter to self-insure because their medical costs are more predictable, okay? So you look at the wellness team and what we're doing in employee engagement. We have to have employee engagement in order, and you guys have to partner with us to engage your employees. Now, we know they're working for you and we don't want to take up more time, but this is to everybody's benefit. If you have a happy, engaged, if that employee is sitting there, actually, let me just go ahead. There's a joke. How many employees work here? And the owner says, about half. That turns out to be about right? Okay, less than that. Okay, so if your employees are there but not working or not engaged, we can be the monitor for you to see who's engaged and who's not with the tools I just shared with you. Now, this is, again, not to be punitive or anything else. Getting the right people in the right seats, doing the right thing at the right time, you know what? your business becomes very easy. Okay, that's pretty much a fact at this point. So if we group together, and we're not experiencing this yet because we're up in these numbers, but we're early, you have the 125% corridor, which any insurance company kind of adjusts to. They say, we're going up to 125. They could be 110, but usually 125. And then they use what is called secondary insurance to then cover above that experience rating, okay? So we hit Providence's secondary insurance, right, with the 1.36. But as we grow, the predictability of it becomes very obvious, right? So if we're above 400, it's usually about 2%. If you're at 50, it's about 18% probability of hitting that process. So bottom line is, wellness, health trends management, whatever you want to call it, we have to find a way to engage your employees, our employees, into keeping the well people well and really dealing early intervention, top-line care for the people that are sick. Okay, we would like to incorporate centers of excellence. You know, and centers of excellence might be 50% more at the point of cost, but their outcomes are so much better. Those are the type of things we want to do as a group for you and control. Why are we talking healthcare? Healthcare is probably, does anybody not have a problem in this room with healthcare? Okay, it's been a problem since I've been an adult, okay? So we provide all of these other services, so you have the platform to trust us to make this work, okay? Is it gonna go up? Yes, no, depending on how we all work together. And what I'm saying is I'm giving you all control if you allow us to be part of our process. So does it work? Here's a study. I think I did this last year, but it was from, this is Humana. And really quickly they did like, it's in your book, they did like 8,000 people over 3 years. And if you look at this 3-year period, just in engagement, you had a 10% decline in health claims costs in the engaged employees and a 17% rise in the non-engaged. That's a 27%, guys, increase in 3 years, okay? If you're looking right here, lower claims costs equal bottom line savings, of course. Same thing with changing habits. They were much more engaged for doing that. Using services are all really critical. So these are all things that we're bringing to you as a group and saying that we need to do together. So that's just a study, and you can read through that, and I can send it to you. I have the complete study if you really like that. I did put a really good study in there. I try to find one study that kind of crosses everything. People that have engaged, happy employees, they blow it out the roof, right? Everything happens when your employees are engaged and are working on your behalf, right? It's not easy. It's not, okay, that's the point. I have time to just sit down and focus for you guys on this stuff, and this team does, right? While you run your business. Allow us to be part of that. So employee engagement is key, better employment through partnership. Your success is our success. We are here working for you. We cannot survive with what we do without you guys, okay? So we want to be synergistic and supportive, and as we get better, it gets easier, right? And we're learning too. So I'm not saying we have all the answers, but we are pretty investigatory, and I think you could say, I would hope the change from this year to last year is dramatic, and hopefully next year we can show really good results, okay, of that. So with that, without you, we're nothing, okay? And we all want to say, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, hold on a second, guys. Thanks, guys. That was done. We looked forever. That was actually a drone that did that. We figured that was like the right timing and everything else. So this is a question and answer time. If you have it, we would like you to stand up and we'll bring the microphone to you. Anybody have any questions? Yes, sir. Hold on. Soupy sales.
So a question for Andy. IT, tell me about the whole IT perspective, digital marketing and IT support, and how can you provide, is that a service you're going to provide us to be able to deploy to our customers, or is that just specific to just RBG and what you're doing?
So technology, it spans a lot. In terms of what we'll support, I touched on the digital marketing, but when you kind of think what we call our technology stack, there will be elements that we'll touch in there, but there's parts where you're actually going to have to come in and make that investment. Probably the better answer, and what I like to do is when I work one-on-one with companies is think about what the business strategy is, and then what's the roadmap of technology slotting into that. Bob talked a little bit about how we do assessments and kind of look at what that could be, that intersection between technology and the business strategy. When we come out of that assessment, we can give the vision of where that support could come in. So there could be pieces in there where we could support you, but then there's other areas where we'd probably want to advise, have someone else come in and support, and we have the infrastructure and the teams outside of here to do that. If you want to peel it back a little bit further, if there's a specific area you want me to talk to or you want to ask about right now, I can certainly do that.
Two different things, digital and IT. If IT is going to be a portfolio service to provide us, as opposed to us outsourcing to companies or bringing our own IT person in.
It's a bit like time. It's a bit like time systems. So there's so many out there. Yeah, I mean, we would love to do that. But right now we haven't been able to single source on somebody. We're using somebody right now, but on IT. Digital marketing probably more so, and we're looking at doing a lot of that. One of the things I did forget, guys, when I asked by employee engagement, we would like to come out and do a lunch and learn to all of your employees, and we'd like you to schedule lunch and learn. We'll buy lunch. We'll come on out. We want them to understand what we're doing and how there could be stakeholders in that. And I have a book called let me grab it really quick. It's called The Company That Solved Healthcare. It's a really good read, very fast. It's a company that actually, it's about 1,400 people and solved healthcare for their group. So everybody that signs up, I'll order a book for and get it to you. So, but if we could get everybody going on this is our success. We want to we're at about 20% engagement with employees. And we realize it's on us. It's not on you. You just have to give us access and trust that we're not going to hijack your employees not to do their work, okay? And I promise I'm very much about productivity. So, but this is important for all of us, including the employees. So we're asking you to meet with Tony, put down, we have different time schedules set, and get that on the schedule. Okay? Any more questions?
Related to that, the lunch and learn, do you guys have strategies or an app or something to connect the employees directly? Because one of my hardest things, I give them the packets that you guys give, but then they don't access like Teladoc. So I'm just wondering.
That's a great question.
If you have strategies for communicating those links or accessibility more.
Yes, it's interesting because we've wondered, should we go with an RBG email system, things like that. So one of the things we're doing with digital marketing is understand who's opening and who isn't, right? So we just understand what the engagement level is what that is. We don't have the Wellable, we went with that for that reason because we can get everybody on there, they're signed in, and we can use the Wellable for that. So we're still working through that, but yes, so.
30% of my employees are on, maybe 30% are getting the medical, so Wellable is
Yes.
just for them, but everybody has some of the outer benefits.
No, we definitely, I think we have everybody signed, anybody can sign in to Wellable. Yeah, it's a cultural thing. We don't really care about the plan. We want to promote healthy workspaces, right? And in every regard of that, so, yeah.
Well, the dashboard, the RBG dashboard, I missed the very beginning. I don't know if you guys talked about how that changed. Is that a place where it could be a central
Yes.
place for them to locate, those links and all those different?
Yes. We're trying to, particularly with the new, because it's not an app yet either. We're working on several things. We're actually in builds of different things. So I've learned not to say anything until I'm done because I get hammered. So one more, I'll get to you. Yeah.
Well, I guess one thing I've been really interested in is that one of my experiences is trying to get my more marginalized employees to really not just
the benefits, but access them and use them well. And
Yeah.
the experience of, I've got a good chunk of my team that isn't really computer savvy, so getting things in an email format isn't like, I mean, it's my job to make, so we've done meetings about the teledoc, we're even actually getting to the point where I've got check-ins with them to like, have you actually signed up? Do you have your pharmacy on teledoc? Do you have those things? Because it's not just, those are the people I feel like are I'm spending a lot of money covering those people, and they're not using any of the
Yes.
benefits. And that is
Yeah.
what really, to me, that feels like an employer failed. So, and I know, I can see the problem. I mean, you guys can't meet with every person individually.
No, we would be that. It's important to us, and we will develop the team to do so. Obviously, particularly in this situation. So maybe we should sit down and have a strategy and talk about what we do and how we do it, particularly in your group. Because we don't want you doing that. Okay, not that, and I know you, and seriously, she's more medical than I am, and I love she reads the research in the weekends, so she's awesome that way, and so I understand what you're saying, but at some point we have to see how we have to allow people to engage themselves, right? And so we're looking at different strategies to do so. Just knowing who they are and how to communicate with them. We realize that everybody's computer. It's a lot less now, but we're open to coming out. So, yes. Yeah, yes, please.
Hi, Kim. I'm Angela from Portland Commercial Construction. And also, do you guys have any so we have a lot of field guys, and I need just maybe like a little card that says, hey, here's the website to the employee portal. Here is how you log on, sign in. Just a quick reference.
We'll make sure you get one. I don't think we had quite enough.
I'd get a bunch, so we'd give it to everybody.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and print them out and bring it out. But we handed out cards with all the links and things. So, and we'll make sure we get that. So would you make sure on benefits? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good.
CBI Index, is that a service, fee service, or how does that work?
We're working through that. We want to make it integral to our process. And he also has a complete software program that actually, at any one point, you can test your population's happiness level and things like that. Travis, you got to admit, the guy's, he's an MBA, he's a CPA. I mean, he's a restless soul like we all are in this room, right? And that's his business. And the guy is rock solid. I just really like him a lot. And he did business turnarounds. He did 20 of them. And the way he determined this system or sought this out was, how do you turn around a business, right? You know. Right people in the right seats doing the right thing, right? Seems so simple, doesn't it? But it's very difficult to do. And then that whole messaging and making sure the messaging's clear so it's actionable. Those aren't easy things, particularly when you're just trying to grow your business.
So to be determined.
Yeah,
Or will you
yeah,
engage
to be
with
determined.
directors?
It's very. I mean, right now. We can talk, but yeah, I mean, we're planning on rolling it out for our groups because why? Why is it important for us to make sure that your staff is doing well? Well, if it is, you're all going to grow. That's our greed, right? Right there, right? You grow, we grow, right? And it's organic for us. That's like our annuity. We want to make sure your system is so solid that it's a natural to consult us for employment and we know who the people are and how we're helping. So, okay?
I got several. So everybody's probably doing something really cool and good from an engagement standpoint, a human relations standpoint. It'd be cool to have a list of the stuff that people are doing, just as a repository we can go look at and go, oh, that's a great, we could do that here.
Yes.
So I'd love to see that kind of a mechanism.
So, guys, I'm part of Vistage, and I go to other CEOs, and I know you're part of something else. And to me, it was really important to go in front of other CEOs and learn what they're doing. We want to create that, but not waste time, right? So the idea of developing into a blog or a website, we're trying to work on that. But I definitely, just for me, learning from you, right? And you guys are the peers in the room here, right? And you help us get better, and we can help each other get better. So I think that's a great point. So we are working on that. It's something I really see as vital for our group. So, yeah.
So just to piggyback on what you're asking, one of the things I do when I go into a company is really the whole point is to stabilize their infrastructure so they can grow. What does that mean and what does that look like? I mean, I could come up with a whole list of initiatives, but it really starts with, on top of getting the right people in the right job, it's what's your recruiting strategy, what's your onboarding and orientation program look like? Are you giving everybody the same mission, vision, and purpose of what the company does, how they're organized, what the structure is, setting expectations so that everybody has the same message when they come in on day one, and they know what their purpose and contribution is? Are you training them? Are they mentored and coached and developed? How are you evaluating them? So it's all that HR piece that goes into engagement. Then when you look at the culture and the initiatives, now what can we do, right, and communicate?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, CVS is just a tool. So we got to wind up, guys. We got a movie to play in here. So we tried to pick something so we could display the screen. So just meet with your account reps. Account executives are your primary contact for you. Account managers are obviously there also, and we're here to help you. And I have an open door. You can contact me anytime. I hope you guys realize I respond fairly quickly, and you guys are important to us. Thanks so much.